Hey, it's Katie. Welcome back to another episode of the Flamingo Advantage podcast. We are here to talk again about marketing and about client experience. And today's episode comes from a question that we received from someone who has been in our audience for a while, who has seen us grow and change over time, and who came to us with a question around how we have rebranded. And I thought it would be a beneficial thing for you to hear. This question was given to us in a live presentation that we did recently. And so we have taken that audio out and been able to share it with you here. Of course, if you're watching us on the video channel, you'll see the presentation as it happened live in that event here through the recording space. But it has to do with rebranding and what would make somebody rebrand and how do you do it and what things do you take into consideration. And I think it's going to be really beneficial for you as you consider what your brand does and says and how it resonates with your people, and also how we need to hold that brand loosely and we need to allow the Lord to change it with us as we change over time and as our people change as well. I hope you enjoy it. If you have a gift in a box, you have a million different ways that you could wrap that box. Right? There's a million different options for how you could present that gift to somebody, but the gift could be the same no matter what it looked like on the outside. And so in our business with our rebranding process, this is what God did. This is another one of those God stories. When we took that family trip in that boat up the river to see the flamingos, I had no intention at all of wearing pink, of having a flamingo in my house, of like no intent. Like, I'm an elephant girl. I have loved purple all my life. Okay. Like, it's not like I was looking for a way to rebrand or looking for inspiration. But when God started bringing those lessons to me, and I was like, oh man, Christian business owners are like flamingos like that, aren't they, Lord? And he's like, yeah. And you know what else? Here's this lesson over here. And here's this. I've always been one to see those object lessons. And so I wrote the book and I was like, great, a flamingo book. How fun. Right. And I put it out there. And when I did, and when people started responding to that message, like, oh my goodness, that's such an amazing thing. It helps me remember what God is doing in my business. It helps me remember who I am. Every time I see a flamingo, I remember what you taught me in that book, right? And I started getting more and more of these, and I'm like, Lord, is this a thing? Lord, I don't even like pink, right? But I had to lean into what the Holy Spirit was doing. And it was like, yeah, it's kind of a thing. And the more I thought about it, the more I used it with my clients, the more comments I kept getting. Like, you guys can't even imagine. I have clients whose husbands buy me flamingos. Okay. Like, it just has taken over everything. And I was like, I couldn't have done this if I wanted to. Like, this was totally a God thing. And so there must be something here. And the more we started leaning into it, he's like, yeah, there's something here. Flamingos catch attention, and all those lessons that you're teaching are lessons that more people need to learn. You need to get in front of them with this. And so the same things that I'm teaching here are the same things that I taught for the last 2 to 3 years, but we are teaching them from a different perspective and under a different name now. It's a different outside packaging for what is on the inside. And the reason that I did that is that it is more appealing to the people that I'm trying to reach. And God has shown me that it helps them to resonate. And so I think that it's important for us to understand that and to hold loosely our businesses. Like, the things that got you here may not always get you to the next step. Sometimes it's okay to let go of things. I had a real identity crisis when we let go of our Lemon Haas curriculum business, like the actual physical book business. Because that was my start in business. That was our story. I had poured so much of myself and my life and my blood, sweat, and tears and all of these things that had happened in the trajectory of growing that business, that I felt like by giving that up, I was giving up a part of who I was. It felt like when we transitioned out of ministry into business, that a lot of people thought we had given up who we were. Oh, you're an ex-missionary now? Oh, you're an ex-homeschool business now, right? Like, there's a lot of stigma and things that can be around that. And what God showed me was, this has nothing to do with your title, but it has everything to do with who you are and what I've allowed you to accomplish and who I'm creating you to be yet. And so I'm still the same person who pioneered a homeschool curriculum method in my second language, right? I'm still the same person who did all of those things.
I'm still the same person who lived under a Paradise Praises brand and who lived under a Blogging Successfully brand, and then who transitioned into a handprint Como blog because I was trying to mix the two languages and realized that was a test that didn't work, right? And then then the handprint legacy brand, that was another story that God used in our life, a story of a handprint on a wall in a canyon cave somewhere. And what impact are you making on the world for future generations? That's where our legacy piece came from. And we do have a business that is actually an LLC registered business that is Handprint Legacy LLC, right? And so that's been kind of the umbrella business on one side of what we do. The coaching and consulting for our masterminds and our 7 and 8 figure clients is under Handprint Legacy. The Flamingo brand took off over here under the Felizpreneur business, right? And so here's another level that some of you maybe don't know, and new people often don't know, is that your business name, the name you pay taxes under, doesn't have to be the name of your book and the name of your program and the name of your whatever. The business name that you pay taxes under can have lots of different things. Like Lisa was just talking about in the Q&A session, she's just drawn an umbrella, right? This is the umbrella over everything we do. And every one of those little triangles on the umbrella could be different things. And so you may have a podcast and you may have a blog and you may have a whatever, but it's all part of the umbrella of the business that you have. And so I hope that explains some of the name change there. But what we're doing and what we're teaching has remained the same. It's how we're packaging it that is different. So it's more relatable to our people. So essentially, all that you're doing here and the messaging that you're putting out to the world, you want it to be consistent with what you do, even as you know that sometimes the Lord will transition that into different packaging.
So I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit of the backstory around our rebranding and picked up a couple of tips for yourself as well. If you've got comments, of course, leave them for us down below. If you enjoyed this, please share it with a friend. And if you're interested in attending our next live Christian marketing retreat, like the one that you just heard, we'd love to have you check it out over at flamingobizevent.com, or you can check the show notes for a direct link. We do these every few months. And so check it out, see when the next one is. We would love to have you in attendance.